Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Project Veterans Voices. I'm your host, Andrew Cox, and today we're having a part two with Mr. Weber's story. Man, the part one, if you missed it, you got to go back and check it out. But Mr. Weber's got one heck of a story. I can't wait to hear the rest. But if you're enjoying these podcasts, make sure you go to the website. That's the Lost Art Project, veteransvoices.org. Go check us out, see what we're all about. We are a new nonprofit. So if you can help us out in any way, it'd be much appreciated. A big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project out there doing amazing things. If you don't know anything about them, go check them out. Even if you do, go back and check them out again. I'm telling you, it's an amazing organization, and you can always find them at tillvalhallaproject.com. And don't forget, Marine Corps League now has veteran service officers. So if you're in need of one, you can always go to mcleague.org, the VSO locator, or you can dial 703-207-9588, extension 299.
Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps Veteran Service Organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member.
All right, we are back, man. I got Mr. Weber, Robert Weber, Air Force veteran for part two, and I'm excited about this. How you doing?
Doing great.
Awesome. Now, it's been a couple days since we talked the last time, but I got to tell you, that first talk that you gave me, it was fantastic. It was incredible. So thank you for sharing all that. It was awesome.
Thank you. You're welcome. So,
well, let's start from where you got out of service and then kind of what you did, because I know you made it back home in the last one, and then we can just go from there.
Okay. You want kind of the history of my life then from there on till now?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I want to know what you've done.
Okay. Well, we think the last time I just got off of the train and family met us there. So decided that Jenny and I was going to live with the folks for a month or so till I got kind of reorganized into civilian life.
Right.
So we went out and lived with the folks for a month or two during the summer. I helped Dad get his hay in and whatever work there was around there. And I needed a little money, so he said that I could use his haying equipment. He had mechanical haying equipment.
Oh,
so
okay.
Had a guy from Tom Miner Basin that needed his hay cut.
Right.
So I went, took the equipment up there. There's a tractor mower and a buck rake in front of it.
Okay.
And he had a pretty nice place up quite a ways up in the Tom Miner Basin.
Mm-hmm.
And he had one son that was an absolute complete invalid. The boy had been vaccinated for tick fever, and it reacted and made him completely rigid, except that he could speak enough so that you could understand him.
Wow.
So it was up to me to mow the hay down and cure it and then stack it. And they had quite a number of very large boulders in the hayland that they never bothered to remove. They just remembered where they were, and I had to mow around them. So every morning I went and visited with the boy, and he could talk enough so that he could tell me where these boulders were. So every morning I got the directions where the boulders were, and then I had to mow around them. And it was pretty tough mowing. There was a lot of mole holes and
Oh yeah.
uh, gravel pots and everything in it. So it was quite a chore to get that mowed down. I'd usually have to change sickles about 4 times a day in order to
Oh wow.
keep them going. And after I got it mowed, rake it up into bunches, and uh, take them to he had an overhead stacker, and we pushed them on the stack and then dumped them over back in the back for to build the stack. And we had a
Okay.
man on there was spreading the hay around to make a nice stack. And that's we spent must have been about 3 weeks up there
Mm.
uh, putting his hay up. Had a couple little rainy spots, and during the rainy periods, instead of just sitting in the house, I built fence for him and whatever he
Oh
needed to
wow.
be.
Nice.
And when we got done, then we came home, and I helped Dad put up his second cutting, and then as got to the point where I had to find a job and kind of get out on my own. So at
Mm-hmm.
that time, Livingston was a railroad town. Uh,
Okay.
it employed at least 1,100 people one time. They had it was the biggest railroad town between St. Paul and Auburn, Washington. They did everything. It was split into two units, I suppose you'd call them. The back,
Right.
the back shop did the deep repair. They tore them down, tore the engines down,
Oh
clear the
wow.
bottom, and rebuilt them. And then part of the was the roundhouse, which was the running repair. We had a
Okay.
table, and we just get the engines there and do what work we could do to keep them going.
Wow.
So, and that had variable hours. The back shop was just a uh, five to 7 to 9, 7 to 5
Oh okay.
every day. Just regular.
Yeah.
The roundhouse had variable hours, and a lot of you could get. Sometimes, if somebody didn't show up, you'd have a lot of overtime. So I
Oh
decided
wow. Yeah.
I wanted the roundhouse so that I could get some extra money, make some extra money. I needed some money,
Yeah.
and the first job I had was running the turntable, which had that directed the engines into whatever stall they wanted. And all it was for weather protection was just a little board where they had the controls. The rest of it you was out in the open for there's 20 below a lot of times, and it was a
Wow.
pretty chilly job. And
Yeah.
we we had to go across the tracks for a cup of coffee to keep from freezing about every hour. And then I graduated to an inside job, and the engines were all black metal, and they wanted them shiny and everything. So
Mm.
we'd have to take a piece of Wastex and put some kerosene on it and rub them down until it was nice and shiny and black. And of course, about the first 100 yards that they would go, I would be just as dirty as they were before. But anyway, they started out nice and clean. And then I graduated to a fire builder. I had to build fires. If they knocked the fire out of the engine, I had to rebuild the fire and get it started, get
Mm.
ahead of steam up. And then I worked for, I was machinist helper for quite a while. And I had worked for just about every job in there. And then they finally an opening came to uh, uh, get my apprenticeship, my machinist
Mm.
apprenticeship. through
Right.
the government, and I applied for that and started my apprenticeship. It was normally from 7 till 3. Take a lunch whenever you had a chance,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody didn't show up, why they called you for some overtime, extra time. And I had a buddy from North Dakota. He was kind of halfway foreman once in a while. He knew I wanted a lot of overtime, so every time they was short someplace, why he'd holler for me, and I'd go work overtime. And I worked enough hours one year so that I put 2 years worth of hours into one year. So I was pretty
Ooh.
busy,
Yeah, you were.
just about double time all the time. And for the times that I wasn't working, why I needed something to keep me busy, something to make some money.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing I tried then, we had a couple of insurance guys that I knew. So I was going to learn
Okay.
the insurance business. So I worked at that actually it was a total for a couple of years I studied there. And I decided that was not really what I wanted. So
Right.
I told them, they says that I was 100% right, that I would probably never make an insurance salesman, but I'd make a hell of a car salesman.
Oh.
Anyway, the next thing I tried was this vending business. They have all kinds of stuff, candy bars and
Oh, right.
whatever.
Like
I, I,
vending machines.
I thought I'd get into the vending business,
Okay.
and they had a setup there. They offered a setup that I would get 10 of these little vending machines. They were kind of triangular shaped and red colored and had a light in them and a heater in them. And I would fill them with hot almonds, and as a nickel for a twist, get a little handful.
Yeah.
And that they were very good when they were hot and fresh, but being heated all the time, well, it was only about a week and they got stale and they weren't fit to eat.
Oh.
So I'd have to go around and change them and everything. And I did make enough money then the first year. They guaranteed that you would make enough money to pay for your investment the first year. So I did. I made enough money for that for my first year, and then the machines were mine. So I just left them in little red machines all over town, and a lot of places would not accept a machine because it looked like they was uh, advertising a red light district. But, but anyway, most of them kept the machines for a while, and then they finally let them kind of peter out. And in retrospect, one bar there, he kept his machines, and up until a few years ago, he still had that machine in his front window, just not
No
used,
kidding.
just for show. And then I decided I would go into the automobile fender business. So I it was a, a correspondence course for as long as you wanted, probably about 2 years. And then after that, well, they'd give you a 3-week hands-on course in Chicago. So I went with that and finally did my 3 weeks in Chicago, and I was a bona fide
Like a mechanic?
repair. At that time, all the cars were made out of metal. You never
Mm-hmm.
had any, and so you had to beat out the dent and
Right.
smooth it off and file it smooth and put the undercoat on and all a ball of wax. And so I kind of set up a little business in my garage that I would take these cars and bang out the dents and give them a paint job and everything for about $60. And I did several of them that way. And then sometimes I'd find an old wreck and fix it up and sell it. And
Okay.
one guy, I had a Studebaker, and the only thing, it was a real nice car. The only thing
Mm-hmm.
wrong with it was it had an overdrive in it, and that overdrive didn't work. So you'd have to leave it wired out all the time. Anyway, I found a guy that wanted that awful bad. He had a little piece of land in town,
Mm-hmm.
about a lot. And so he offered me to, if I'd give him $400 in the car, why, he'd give me that lot,
Oh, nice.
building lot. It's way out in the edge of town. So I traded that. Oh, there was a carpenter from Big Timber that he was looking for a place to build a house. And so I traded that to him for a lot with a partial basement piled up in it. And so kind of backtrack a little bit now. When I
Okay.
was working for the railroad, my opportunity came up for apprenticeship, which I took. And that worked from 7 to 3, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of variable hours and whatever. And I got a nice bunch of tools out of the VA out of it. And
Very nice.
and I had this money saved up a little bit for down payment. So we decided that we're going to build a house. And we did that with under the Veterans Administration.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy that was going to build it for me from Big Timber, he was a sheep shearer by trade, but also a carpenter and a good one. And so I told him that I was going to figure on building my house and asked him if I hired him, if he would show me how to build a house. So he said, sure. And he was very good. He showed me everything, how to build it, and rafters and two by fours and the headers and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. So actually, I was doing 2 apprenticeships at the same time. And
Yeah.
so I asked the foreman at the railroad, I was supposed to be working from 7 to 3. I asked him if it'd be all right if I could quit at noon and go work on my house the rest of the day. So he said that would be fine. So I knocked off at noon all the time and went, worked with a carpenter building the house. And I had all these these headers and 2x4s and everything all made up. And carpenter put them together while I was in the morning while I was still on my railroad time. Then at
Right.
noon, I'd go and work with a carpenter on my house, and we'd work together. If he didn't have these all put together, why, he'd show me how to do this and how to do that, and lay out work for me. And he went home then at 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I put up a light and I worked from 4 o'clock till midnight every day, making these headers and cripples and 2x4s and all that kind of stuff. Had them all ready for him so that if in the morning, why, he put them up while I was working at the railroad. So I'd go home at midnight, get about 6 hours sleep, and go back to the railroad in the morning and work on my time there. And I learned to run lathes and
Oh yeah.
had a year in the welding department. And had a air brake man there. He was real good on the air brakes, but he was a drunkard. He only showed up once in a while. So I pinch hit for him and learned the air business too. And then when
You just learned everything. You get a jack of all trades.
doing everything I possibly could, yeah. And let's see, I finally got to back up quite a ways. When Dad bought this place out here up the valley, where we had the place that I'm on right now that was next to it. And we thought it'd be awful good if I could ever buy that place. And then we could work together, haying whenever we needed to work together. So it was owned by two bachelor Scotsmen and their bachelor sister. She had been married for a year, and her husband would not want any part of the ranching, so he quit. So she came back and was cooking for the boys. And they finally died then. And so we thought it would be a good chance for me to buy that place.
Yeah.
And she wanted $40,000 for it. It's 320 acres. And
that's a lot of acreage.
I walked that place. I think I wore a pair of shoes out walking it. And there was no way that I could pay her $40,000 and expect to make it at all. So I finally told her that I can't pay that. Well, she did not have any Social Security or anything, and that was only thing she had for retirement. So I gave it up, but continued working for the railroad.
Right.
And then about a week later, I still had my mind on it. I woke up about 2:00 in the morning, and I thought, I've got the solution to that. If she will carry the mortgage, I'll pay the interest to her instead of to a bank. Plus, I'd make my regular payments on it. And over 20 years, why, she'd just about get her $40 for it. So she went for it. So we signed her agreement. And she had a attorney in town. He was an older attorney that made his money a long time ago. Anyway, he was to settle our estates. They had never settled the estates for the boys when they died. So they had to settle it now so she could give me a clear title to it. And it always kind of sticks in my mind. When I sold my house in town, why, we had to rent a place for a month or two till we got this new one. The ranch that I bought, this place, was without a question the most rundown, dilapidated, junked up place in the valley. No question about it. And in fact, I had people, most of the guys in the railroad, they had bets on that I wouldn't stay out here for a year. Well, in retrospect, I buried every single one of them. Anyway, we had her sale out here, and I bought. They were horse people. They did everything by horse, except the last couple of years where they finally broke down and bought a 8N Ford tractor and some of the equipment for it. So when we had the sale, I bought the tractor at the sale for, I think it was $550, and everything else went on the sale. And so we agreed on this price and everything, down payment, and sold a house in town, made a few dollars on it, not very much, but I had that money saved from when I worked double time.
Right.
And my total assets when I bought the place, I had $7,000 cash, a 41 Chevy pickup, Chevy car, 2-door car, a wife, and a 3-year-old daughter. That was the total assets that I had when I bought the place.
Wow.
And, the first thing when we got the paperwork done, we had to go into the lawyer's office, and I had given her a down payment of $3,000 on it. And I always remember she took that $3,000 check and looked at it, and she handed it over to the lawyer, says, "I guess I owe you this." And that stingy sucker took it, every penny of it.
Really?
Yeah, he had.
Oh man,
he was old. Had his money made and everything. He had one foot in the grave and the other on a banana peel, but still, he took every single penny of it. And so I had a little bit more down payment to do on it, and then the interest, and that's the way I paid for the ranch. And I didn't want her son-in-law to get a hold of it or anything, so I paid it off as fast as I could. I paid for the ranch in 17 years, and when I first had it, I had to figure out some way to make money, pay for it. And then I was going to promised Jenny I'd build her a new house. And in fact, there was a lot of sawmills around at that time, and we had our plans drawn. And so I gathered up a lot of that green wood for the house. I figured out whatever needed and stacked it and let it dry then until I needed it. And we lived in the old house then for 9 years before I finally accumulated enough money to get started on the house. First thing I had to do is that never had a building that was any good except the house. They had 2 houses shoved together, and they never bothered cutting the roofs off or anything. So when about a 3-4 foot space in between them, so they nailed a couple of boards up on each side to keep the big bugs out. And when you went from one building to the other, the first house that they moved in had a kitchen and a living room, and then you'd go open that door, step down on the dirt, close it, and open the other door. We used the other part of the house for a bedroom, and that's the way we managed with that for 9 years. But I was still working for the railroad at that time yet. I hadn't quite finished my time, and they were great pork eaters, and they every year they ate 8 or 9 hogs by themselves out of that.
Wow.
And everything. And no matter how you cook a pork chop, there's still a little bit greasy air floating around, and they never washed. They never washed the walls in about 70 years that they had the place, and them walls were so doggone full of grease that they would not hold paint. I
Holy
tried
moly.
everything on them. Finally, I found out that they would hold wallpaper. So
Okay.
this was the old style wallpaper. You know, you put it up and measure it, and they
Hmm.
had a long vat of uh, glue is supposed to be is waterly
Hmm.
glue, and then you put that up against the wall and press it in place and everything. Then you'd get the next section and measure it so that the print matched up, and
Right.
put that into the water glue solution. And of course, it always stretched a little bit, so
Hmm.
you'd always have a hell of a time getting the print lined up.
Right.
And uh, I finally got onto it, so that I was doing pretty good. And one morning, I really got an early start on that sucker. I was going to go gung ho, and I put up about 3 sheets there. I put them in the water and plastered them up by hand and put them in place and everything. Got the next one measured and put it in the water, and finally got the print lined up and pressed it in shape and everything. And I was going right along. Got about the fourth one and looked back, and the first ones were falling off.
Oh no.
So, so I had to take them all apart and reposition them. And needless to say, I developed a hatred for wallpaper that I still own.
Still
But
holding on to
I
it.
still hate this stuff. So anyway, I got the thing wallpapered finally and got it all. So it was covered up the dirt, and
Hmm.
wasn't too bad. And the floor, they saved they had the newspaper come. At that time, it was a daily, and they never threw one away. They just piled it
Wow.
on a table in the corner, and it was almost to the ceiling. Then they had a rocking chair with one rocker broke, so they had put the rocker in the hole, and then they would rock, and it made it kind of level. Well, and they had a table that they always at the same table at the same time, at the same place, and had rollers on it, and with a natural moving the table a few inches back and forth during the meal. It wore holes in the floor so that they was almost ready to go through the second floor. So I had to put some new flooring in. So I figured I'd get some softwood tongue and groove, and I could put
Yeah.
halfway decent floor in. It wouldn't be too bad. It had such a curve in the flooring, I could not bend that tongue and groove enough to drive it together. So it was about 3-inch crest in the middle. So I finally I tore up some of the old floor to see what the problem was. And when they moved the house in there, they used wooden blocks for blocking it up. Didn't put
Right.
any cement, no cement uh, uh,
Blocks or anything.
or anything around it. And they
Hmm.
put a couple of rows of wooden blocks down through the middle. Well, over the years, the outside ones, they got wet and rotted and molded,
Hmm.
and the house just kind of settled down over them. And the inside ones were dry, and they did not settle down or anything. So I pulled about 3 or 4 blocks onto the middle ones to kind of get house, the floor level down enough to where I could get the tongue and groove
Right.
hooked together. But even then, the house was uh, so crooked that we had a 30-inch cook stove at that time, and I had to block it 1.5 inches on one corner to keep it level. And the sum and substance of their conveniences, they had a 3-inch plank nailed in the corner with a bucket on it and a dipper and full of water, and that was their total conveniences, inside conveniences. They had an outside toilet that they used all the time, and it was put together about the same way. You could throw a cat through it about any place. So I had to even build a new toilet so that it was halfway reasonable.
Right.
And of course, they didn't have water or anything piped around. They said it was a good well, but I checked it, and it there's only about 2.5 gallon capacity, which is not very great. But I decided I was going to put a pressure pump on that, and we'd have pipe water in the house. So I bought one of these dimming outfits from Gamble's. It was a very good outfit. They had the pump and the supply tank, and their pump had a air valve and a water valve, so it pumped a little bit air in it all the time, so it never got waterlogged. And it had a bleeder valve in the main tank, and if it was too much air, why it'd float to go down and bleed the air out. So it got up to level. It was just a pretty decent outfit. So we didn't have a farmhand or any kind of an outfit. So the original pump had the pump down in the well, down to just about water level, and then they put about a 10-inch, 10-foot extension on that, and that's the way they suck their water out. And it wasn't long, and the well pipe got to leaking, so we had to pull that thing out and find out where the problem was. So, like I say, we didn't have a farm lift or anything, so I got a big block and tackle and put a tripod up there, and we lifted that thing up by hand. Dad and my brother helped me on that, and lifted it up, and took the sections apart one by one and laid them out, and fixed the one that was bad and put them back together. And I thought, well, if I extend that 10-foot, I think it was 8-foot pipe, and I extended it to 10 feet, thought that'll just pick up a little bit more water. So we put it together, and the thing just worked slicker than a whistle for about a minute. And then pretty soon it got slower and slower and slower. What I'd done, I got too low to the bottom, and it sucked sand up and filled the whole system full of sand. So we had to put the block and tackle up again, and we took the whole thing all apart and blow the sand and gravel out of it. And then I cut a couple feet off of that, and we put it back together, and then it finally worked. And I put a pipe to the old house, buried a pipe so that frost deep, and came up to through the floor with it, and put water in the house. I bought a water tank, and we had a sink, and we had a sink where you could wash your hands, and then I put a drain outside just so that it could just sun could dry it up. And so we had water in the house and a place where you could wash your hands. When you took a bath, why we had a pretty good sized wash tub, and we'd fill that with water and put enough hot water in it until it would be good. And the first one took a bath in that and added a little bit more. Then the second one would took a bath in it, and the third one till everybody got their bath in out of that wash tub. And I was a little bit longer than most of the kids, so I got a oblong tub, and that's where I took my bath all the time. We did that for 9 years before I got my new house built.
Huh.
And back up a little bit then. When I bought the place, why I had to have sheep, I think I told you. And I bought some sheep then, and didn't have any. At that time, there was no buildings on it that wouldn't leak besides the house. And so Dad and brother, they lambed a bunch of sheep out for me. And when they'd get a few days old, why they'd bring them over, and I'd go walk over on foot. Is only about less than a mile, and help them, and got a lambing done that way. So I was getting more sheep then, so I had to build a shed for them. So I built this sheep shed, 25 by 80 feet, and that was most painful building I ever put on, because I just love to hunt, and here I was building, and all the hunters and the mountains was shooting my deer for me. But anyway, got that thing built, and didn't have a building that didn't leak. So I had to have some place to put my tools. I had quite a gathering of tools. So the next thing I built was a shop, and built that out of blocks, cinder blocks. I'd never seen a cinder block before in my life. So I had to figure out how to lay blocks and everything. Got my blocks from Three Forks, and I laid it the best I could and put in the windows and doors as I was going up, and had some granular insulation. I insulated it all the way up, and I ended up, and I was only about 3/8 of an inch off of level when I got to the top. So I was pretty proud of myself.
That's really good.
So I got the roof put on and everything, put a steel roof on that one. And see, the next thing I had to build, we didn't have any money when we went out there, so we had to be self-sufficient. So the folks gave us a cow, so I had milk and butter and cream and everything, and we got a bunch of chicks early in the spring, and we raised about 100 chicks, various breeds, and in about 2 or 3 months, males were big enough to make fried chicken out of. So we had fried chicken about at least once a week, and milk and cream and butter. And about all we had to buy was a little sugar once in a while and a little flour. So we were just about 100% self-sufficient. And actually, we were probably eating higher on the hog than most of our city people, because we had fried chicken every Sunday. And and the extras, we would butcher 4 at a time every Saturday. That was our routine. We'd butcher 4, we'd have 1 for Sunday dinner, and the other 3, we'd cut up and freeze for the freezers for during the winter time.
Okay.
My wife was a city girl. She did not know anything about farming, but she gave it 100%, and she got so that she's pretty good at dressing those chickens as I was. So, and her dad was always a gardener. So we put in a real big garden all the time.
Hmm.
We had everything in there. What we couldn't eat, why we'd freeze and put in the freezer for winter time.
Okay.
And that's kind of the way we kept it going. And we had a big, had a building that was the only one that was on some kind of a foundation right next to close to the house here.
Hmm.
And they had held school in it 2 different years, and then they quit. In fact, Beatty had went to school there 1 year herself,
Huh.
and so I changed that into a rabbit hutch, and I was raising domestic
Oh,
rabbits too, and raised rabbits practically all my life. So we had
yeah.
quite a variation in our diet, and we lived pretty high on the hog.
Yeah.
And
Well, chicken and rabbit, both of them's real good. So can't go wrong
uh,
with that.
the first year, we made just about, I was on a very strict budget. I'd never budgeted before, but I made a budget out now, and I really stick to it to the dollar. If I
Hmm.
overspent on one thing, why, I'd have to subtract a little from the other. Anyway, the first year, I made $5,000 on the ranch, and that was enough to make my payments and get enough seed to put a crop in for next year. But no extra.
Okay.
Couldn't find any extra money to start building my house or anything. So the second year was about the same way, and I was so busy in the summertime that I
Hmm.
did not have job time for any other kind of work. But the wintertime was a little bit slack. I'd have some slack. So I went to the auction yards at Bozeman, and I'd pick up dairy calves. Uh, they cost
Okay.
about $12, and I'd take them home and raise them. And in about a year and a half, why, they were around 1,800 pounds or something. I'd go and sell them, get a couple $100 out of that.
Hmm.
And I did that for a couple of years. And then my neighbor came over one time visiting. He had a dairy. It's about 5 miles as a crow flies from here.
Hmm.
He had a dairy, and milk was very lucrative then.
Hmm.
And they had one of the best dairies in the state of Montana. They run second, third from the top all the time.
Hmm.
So he said that when they'd have a calf, why, they'd have to feed it until sale time and run it over to the sale yard and get a couple bucks out of it. So he was looking at the calves that I was raising. He said, "You look like you're doing a pretty darn good job on that." He said, "Would you be interested in raising replacement heifers for us? That would relieve us time enough time so we could milk another couple of cows, make more money. It's a pretty good deal for them." I told him, on one condition, that you sell me all your calves
Oh,
and all of your calves, and then said they wouldn't have to go to Bozeman to buy them then. So all he'd do is give me a call. He said, "Got a calf or two for you." So I'd go over and get them, and they'd have a couple of cans of cholesterol milk and send back with me. And I raised calves for them then, lots of them. And the heifer calves, their rejects were probably better than any other cows in the valley. So
oh wow.
I'd save the the rejects ones that looked pretty nice and get them all vaccinated up and everything. And I started my own little dairy.
Okay.
And it was a black market, I guess you would call it. It was whole milk. I sold whole milk, and I got a few cows and milking them. I was selling whole milk and sold it as dog and cat milk. Then the inspectors couldn't come after me.
Okay.
And
It's pretty smart.
I had it on the honor system. So I got a ice bank cooler and set that up and milked. Jenny filled the jars with gallon jars with milk, set them in the cooler, and it was just immediately cooling. It was a very nice setup. And I charged exactly half of what they were paying in town. So it wasn't very long, and I had a pretty good clientele. In fact, there were some of them waited for as long as 2 years to get on my roster. And they want, I only milked a maximum of about 8 or 9 cows at the time. And we've got enough people picking that up, so it just about took whatever we needed. And it didn't make us very rich, but boy, was it a morale booster. Go to town and spend all your money, flat broke, come back home, and somebody picked up a couple of gallons of milk and left some money, and we weren't broke at all. And eventually then I had to build a dairy barn and built that out of blocks and built a pretty upstage one. And
is out of cinder blocks the same as the other?
What?
It was out of cinder blocks?
Yes, out of cinder blocks. And built the trusses in my shop and then put them up by myself, put them up with a farmhand, and then got them in place and nailed them in place. And got the thing all built up and running about, maybe 8 or 9 cows, and had a milk cooler in the milk room, had it separated from the dairy part. And we just had a pretty doggone nice little setup.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of people, they kind of didn't know whether they should feed their kids raw milk or not. So they went to the doctor and asked him if it would be all right if they would feed their kids raw milk. And he wondered who it was. And they told it was me. Oh, yeah, that's fine. It'll be 100% good. So I had a doctor backed up too, so it was pretty good little deal. And the inspector never did stop. It's too small. They didn't want to monkey with little places like that.
Right.
People said, why don't you expand, get more cows? You got more people. I says, I'll keep it. It's working real nice now. I'm small enough so the inspector never bothers me. So I'll just keep it the way it was. And it just works quicker than a whistle. And I had eventually, over the years, I sold milk to almost everybody in town for their kids. And the kids, a few years later, kids had come up and introduced themselves, and my folks bought milk from you. And during the time that I was going gung-ho on it, why, the city inspector moved into Livingston, and he sent his wife out to pick up milk for them, for his family. So I was actually furnishing milk, raw milk for the city inspector. And I don't know how rural oriented you are, but the first milk that cows give after they calve is called the colostral milk, and it's pretty gummy and everything. It has a lot of antibiotics for the calves and everything.
Right.
So he thought if that was good for the calves, why wouldn't it be good for him? So he, through his wife, he ordered a gallon of colostral milk. So I waited till it was pretty decent looking, and I sent a gallon in with him. I didn't even charge him for it. He never asked for another gallon. that, that was pretty thick.
Oh man.
And I was really in the calf business now. I was working at Mitchell's Dairy. They had about 40, 50 cows, and that makes quite a few calves. So I got a bunch of calves, and they saved the good ones for myself. And when I got too many of them, I just got them all vaccinated and everything, and sold them to a cow buyer over in Belgrade, and get them all artificial inseminated and vaccinated. And about the time they were starting to make a little bag, I'd call Joe and tell him I had a cow for him, and so he'd come over and get it, and he'd load them up and take them home. $500 a head. Boy, that was good money those days. And
Yeah.
I'd probably sell maybe 3 or 4 a year for him. And then the gal down Big Timber, she wanted some calves too. Well, I really had more than I could handle, so I'd keep for about 2 or 3 weeks and get them all situated and oriented and everything. And I'd sell them to her for double the price. So I made money every place I could go. And we had one winter. It was bad, and all I had for these calves was a lean-to. Then I strawed it up for them, made a nice nest for them. But it got 20 below for a couple of days, and those calves were actually freezing to death. And I had no buildings or anything built up. So I went and got a whole truckload of straw bales, and I made a straw house for them, and put some poles across the top, and had a straw roof for them, and just a little vent hole for them. And the door, I just set a bale up endwise, and I poked them little buggers in there. They was freezing when I went in. Next morning when I went to feed them, I couldn't hardly get them out to give them their breakfast. They were so nice and comfortable in there, and it was a great place. There was enough straw there that soaked up any moisture, and it was just great. So they spent the winter in my straw house, and they gained every day. So that was one way I got around the immediate building shortage.
Yeah. That's pretty smart.
And it worked.
Yeah.
And I built a sheep shed the first year, and I built a shop the next year, and we always had chickens. We traded eggs for groceries, and we had a poor farm out of Livingston. It was operated by people, and they furnished all the food and everything. So they got to buying eggs from me. They'd buy at least 30 dozen a week, and 30 cents a dozen. And we did that for several years, and then they quit the poor farm. And it got so then I was so doggone busy And every time I was the busiest, why the chicken house needed cleaning out. So we we finally got rid of the chickens then.
Yeah.
Uh, I still kept my domestic rabbits, and
Rabbits are much easier, I think.
yeah, and they don't smell as bad either.
Very true. Yeah.
And then I could peddle them excess rabbits downtown. They'd give me about $3 a piece for them,
Oh,
which
wow.
at that
Okay.
time that was good money.
Yeah.
And I used them even for spending money when I went through high school.
Mm-hmm.
And, uh, let's see, that I we got the dairy business along with my sheep. I increased my sheep. I had over 400 head of ewes one spring to lamb out, and that was pure slavery. I worked for 23 straight hours without bending my back one year. So I got, they make harnesses for your bucks with crayons on. So when they breed a ewe, it leaves a mark. So I got some harnesses for my bucks and I turned them out and left them out till I had, oh, maybe a third or fourth of them bred. Then I locked the bucks up and it gave me a little spare time then in the middle of lambing to kind of get things organized and get started with the second batch.
Wow.
And, then I had more hay than I needed. So,
Okay.
the way we got our baler, everybody was putting up hay loose, and that's kind of what we had figured. So the baler man in town, why he cut the price on his automatic self-propelled or automatic pull-type balers quite a bit just before tax time, so he wouldn't have to pay taxes on it. So Dad and I went in together and we bought this first square baler we ever had as a motorized baler, but had to be pulled with a tractor.
Right.
And so I baled up lots of hay. My land hadn't been really used hardly any, so it was really in good shape, except that it was awful short of phosphate. And I irrigated the heck out of it and watched the different spots. And no matter how much I irrigated, it still wasn't growing good. So I figured it needed some fertilizer. So I went to town to the co-op and got some fertilizer, and they had a self-contained unit that no directions on it, how to set it or anything. So I hooked it up with the tractor and set what I thought was about right. Well, it was way too much. So I made one round with that, and then I cut it down and made another round. It was still way too much. So I cut it down even more. And when that hay came up, then for cutting, the first round was big, tall hay. Next round was a step lower, and it was not quite as tall. And then the rest of it was quite a bit less. But there was still a lot of hay there and more than I needed. So I sold hay then for several years. And they were what they call little small square bales,
Yeah.
16 by 18. And I wanted, first one I sold was to a neighbor gal, and she gave me a check for it. and went to cash it. Insufficient funds. I had to go back down there about 3 or 4 times before I could she had enough money to cover my check. So after that, I decided that everybody had to pay cash for it. So I got to figuring that we have I had quite a niche to fill here because there's everybody that came in here had a horse or two, and they
Right.
needed a ton or two of hay. Well, the little guys didn't have any spare hay, and the big guys would not monkey with a few ton like that. So there was a space in between that needed hay, and they'd have to go to the in town to the dealers and pay about $10 a bale for their hay, which is outlandish. So I decided that I could sell that hay for below cost if they would come out and pick the bales out of the field. So I made a deal on that. They'd come out, I'd give them a ring whenever I had some bales made and when they had time. They'd come out, pick the bales up right behind the baler and get it for quite a bit lower price than they could even in the regular market. So I had quite a thing. I had quite a thing going there. And the only thing is they had to pick them up right after the baler so that they wouldn't get rained on or anything. Well, I never had any. So I never had any spoilage or anything on them. I got paid for 100% of my hay. Whereas if I would have had to stack it first and then sell it out of the stack, I'd have rain damaged on the top layer and moisture coming up from the bottom. And I'd lose quite a lot of it. I'd have to sell it for people with dry stock or something at a very discounted price. So this just worked great for me. And a lot of times I was baling hay in the same field that they were picking it up, and it was hot and dusty day. I had my farmhand out there, and I'd go and gather up a couple loads of bales for them and help them load their pickup. And that was real easy for them and easy for me. It'd only take me about 10 or 15 minutes. I could get enough bales for them. And almost invariably, they'd give me a little tip on top of it. So
nice.
I got just a real nice thing going there. I did that for quite a number of years. And then there's a demand for weed seed free hay here for if you go on government land or if they go on outfitters or something. They always had to have certified weed free hay. So I'd raise the field of that too. And charge a little bit extra for that. But I had to tag every single bale, and it was kind of a nuisance. So I charged about $10 a ton extra for it. And of course, they just come and load up, and I'd help them load. It just worked out real fine. The outfitters, they liked that size because it fit well on their pack mules.
Yeah.
And
wow.
Then they started the round bales, and I started checking on that, and I made a few round bales for myself. And then some of the guys liked to feed round bales. All they do is set them up in their feedlot and just roll off a little bit as they needed it. So I sold a lot of round bales as well as square bales. So I had market for all my hay. All the time. And then it was getting to the point where I'd kind of like to slow down just a little bit. It was it was 18 hours a day, every day. So I kind of wanted to slow down, getting a little bit older. So figured first thing that I could slow down would be to get rid of my dairy cows.
Okay.
So I was getting older then. I took my Social Security early because I
Hmm.
figured it out that if I waited, I'd have to wait 13 years in order to break even, and didn't know whether I'd even be alive at that time. So
Right.
I run a check on see if my extra money coming in would offset the lack of cows,
Mm.
and
Right.
my Social Security would offset that. Works slicker than a whistle. So then
Nice.
I've got jars of money all sitting all over the place that I was uh, doing without to see if my Social Security would stretch.
Yeah.
Anyway, it did fine, and I sold my dairy cows then. My brother, he decided he was going to start in that a little bit, so I sold best cows to him and headed my best customers to him too. But
Okay.
they didn't work. It didn't work out very well with them. They only stayed in the business for a couple of years, and then they quit the
Hmm.
dairy business too. But then all I had to do was the sheep,
Hmm.
and well, let's see now.
Now,
I'm,
about
I'm work,
what
work.
year was this? About what
Uh,
year was that you
this
retire or quit
this
with
had
the
to be.
cows?
This would have to be about in. Uh, let's see, about in 61 or 2 or something like that.
Okay.
And so then I was working quite a bit on my house, and I could see that as slow as I was going, well, the first of it would be rotten before I got the last of it built. So I borrowed some money from the farm and home, and I told him I was figuring on building it myself. Why, he said, "No, you can't do it. We won't loan you any money." They sent a committee out then to check, and they looked everything over in the buildings that I had built. And said, "Yeah, they think that he can do it. We would be in favor of giving him money." I tried 3 times before they finally prevailed. They finally gave me the money to finish building my house, so then
Yeah.
I could uh, spend lots of time on it, finish
Hmm.
it up, and to start with, to get the uh, blueprints for the house, we
Uh-huh.
looked at about 10,000 blueprints and nothing fit. And we found one that looked like it. It looked like it's pretty good. So I made a mock-up of it, a, uh, uh, miniature mock-up to square size,
Oh, I
and
see.
put
Yeah.
the walls up. And we did not want that. It was not what we wanted at all. So I decided that I'd have to make my own drawings. So Jenny knew what size kitchen she wanted. She wanted to look out the front and watch the traffic go by. And I wanted to look out the back to watch my animals. So we had to make a kitchen that was long. So I had a kitchen and dining room combined.
Okay.
And it just worked out great. She had a nice big kitchen, and I could see out in the back whenever I wanted to. And she also wanted a bathroom right close to the kitchen because she had to make pretty frequent trips. So I
Yeah.
put the bathroom right next to the kitchen, and we already knew what size we wanted for the living room.
Hmm.
So no problem with that. We hooked that up. So it was very simple. I just put on a couple bedrooms and an office space, and that was our blueprint. And after I got it was a front entryway is a coat rack and
Okay.
kind of a mudroom combined. And after I got it up, I got the walls up and everything. And I thought, criminy, all I have to do is set this walls back a little bit and kind of make a double wall, and I could have room enough for an office. So I did that. I changed it around and fixed it up. It gave me room from the kitchen side so that I could have a built-in showplace for all Jenny's glasses and everything.
Nice.
And it just worked out real nice. Well, the inspectors came over. They saw that I had changed the blueprints a little bit, regardless of how much more valuable it was or anything. They just got mad and they said they're going to withdraw all my money. So I spent kind of some wee hours and figured out what I needed, numbers, doors, windows, finishing and everything. And I paid the lumber yards for them and told them I'd pick them up whenever I needed them. So I figured I'll show you guys you can take all my money away from me that you want to, because there's nothing left. Anyway, they finally decided that they'd let me go this time. And then they just watched me like a hawk. And I put everything up according to specs. Had a fireplace out of travertine. We had a travertine mill, I guess you'd call it, in Livingston. They cut these, they'd take these big rocks out of the mammoth, the old mammoth flowings of the Yellowstone Park. And then they had a big cutter, and they'd bring them down to the mill and cut them, and then they'd break them into whatever length, width they wanted. So have you ever seen travertine? They are a very pretty rock. They're all different colors and everything. Anyway, I built my own fireplace. Had never built one, a real one before. And I laid it out and got it all balanced and everything. Had a fireplace unit to set in, built it around it. And I'm right next to me and on southwest, got a lot of trees. So I figured there would be a lot of downdrafts, that I have a lot of problem with downdrafts. So I kind of did a little monkeying around with that. I had the chimney come down, the main chimney, and then I scooped the bottom of it out round so that when the downdraft came down, it would hit that rounded place, and that would shoot it right back up the chimney and would allow eliminate any downdrafts. And the regular furnace chimney would go right into it, and it actually would make it draw even that much better. Just worked great.
Wow. That's awesome.
Had it for about 70 years, and I have not even had to clean it. I haven't cleaned it since the day I put it up. And I got a fireplace, real fireplace, so that whenever we run out of heat or anything, why, I can start a little fire in my fireplace, and it heats the room very well and part of the rest of the house. So it just works very well. And also, I made the house for Jenny. She was short. So I made everything to her size, all the cabinets and cupboards and everything. I made 1 inch lower than standard. And and the stove was the only one that I couldn't change. So I said it had to set up an inch, and everything just fit fine. And in our old house, we could not get the floors warm at wintertime. I put bales of straw around the house and put plastic on the windows and the fans and everything. And she always had to wear uh, winter fur-lined boots all winter long, keep her feet from freezing.
Right.
So I told her, you can throw your boots away now. I'm going to fix it so you will never have to wear those boots again. So I put 4 heat outlets in the kitchen, one right underneath the sink where she uses spends a lot of her time. And
Yeah.
then another one in front of the stove where she, uh, right next to the stove where she uses some more of her time. And then the
Hmm.
other end, put a couple more. So I had about 4 inlets in the kitchen, which kept her nice and warm and never had any cold fit problems after that. And the only
Wow.
thing is, it after we were in the house for quite a few years, why she would like to have a built-in dishwasher,
Hmm.
and it had the cabinets all inch lower. They would not dishwasher would not fit underneath the cabinets, and couldn't slide in. So that eliminated the built-in dishwasher, so we have to have a portable one after this. But that's about the only time why that it ever uh, was a problem. And I had lights all around the counter underneath the cabinets,
Hmm.
so that you could turn lights on, and it would be lights where she needed it, right? And I had to plug
Hmm.
in, and I split the circuit on the kitchen so that she wouldn't, if she had a pretty heavy drain on one circuit, why then she could plug something else in on the other circuit. Just
Yeah.
worked great. And then we got so that we was having electric outages every now and then, or maybe windstorm or something. So I thought I should have some backup heat. So I wired the whole house for electric heat as a backup. And it only cost me about $1,500. Did it all myself. And got, if the wind blows something out or something and still got
Yeah.
electricity, we got electric heat backup.
Hmm.
And if that doesn't work, why light up the fireplace.
Yeah.
And we've got lots of trees all over the place, and most of them needed trimming and had lumber tree wood all over the place. There were willows. They were. It makes pretty decent firewood, not like
Hmm.
hardwood or anything. So when I was building the house, I decided that I was not going to make the petroleum people rich while I had all this lumber around. So I bought a wood burning furnace and
Okay.
got that from Waynesboro, Virginia.
Huh.
And that was a gem. Uh, it was big and heavy, and we put it down the basement before I got the top done so that we didn't have too much of a problem getting it down. And got that all hooked up and got forced air heating in all the rooms, and that wood burning furnace uh, had a fireplace big enough. When it came, and had a loose bolt in the back, so I crawled in the fireplace to see what it was, and I got putting her all the way in, and before I ran out of fireplace room. So would take it would take 4 foot long wood. It had a baffle in the back till it got up to the baffle, and it would take 3 foot long wood. In fact, it was just about anything that I could handle, why it would take. It had fire
Huh.
brick in it and vents all over, and so we had very clean air, and uh, good
And
vents and everything. Well,
you would push the heat from that out to the house, like through vents.
yeah, it had a fan
Mhm.
in it, and
Yeah.
automatic fan, uh, heat limit control, uh, the
Mm.
whole ball of wax. And I used that thing for, must have been about 30 or 40 years before it finally, and it just wore out. Is all. The fire brick was caving in, and
Mm.
the one of the main heat ducts. Uh, I got the thing out, and if I could get at it, I could push my thumb through the side of it. It was
Oh.
burned out, just about burned out. But for 2 years in a row, all the heat bill that I had was a couple of gallons of chainsaw oil, chainsaw gas, and a whole bunch of elbow grease. And that's all my heat bill amounted to, just like a few dollars for the whole year.
That's
And
that's really good, especially up in Montana area. I mean, it gets cold up
it,
there, so
it does. It gets 25, 30 below every now and
oh
then.
yeah.
And that furnace kept the temperature within about 1 or 2 degrees in the house. You can't imagine how level that heat was from that wood burner. And
Huh.
if you have oil or gas or anything, a thermometer controlled, why it waits till the room gets down to turns it on, which is too
Hmm.
cool. Then it turns on and goes until it's a little bit too hot. So your temperature's going up and down all the time.
Right.
But with this here, it was just perfect, and it had a big enough ash pan that I'd take ashes out maybe once a month or something like that, and it was just really made for it. Then I
Hmm.
got a new, finally had to get a new one, and the old company went belly up. I couldn't get repairs or anything for it,
Hmm.
so I had one in Wisconsin wood burner. It was a dual fuel one. You could use
Okay.
either wood, or I uh, had oil for the second for the backup. You could
Mm,
use
okay.
either one or both of them at the same time. That has been the most junky doggone furnace I've ever had. I've got trouble with it all the time.
Really.
And the damper, when it was supposed to shut the heat off, it leaked so bad that it would keep the fire going. And especially at night, I'd put a bunch of wood in it so it'd last all night long. And it leaked air so bad that about 2 o'clock in the morning, the temperature upstairs would be about 80 degrees. And then by morning, why, it would be plumb dead. So we had lots of problems with the thing.
Hmm.
And but I've still got it, still using it. And we finally got repairs enough so that we could get it a little bit more level heat. But my golly, I put a bunch of money in that thing and getting repairs and trying to find out what was wrong, why it wouldn't cut off and all that. And I had to get a new fuel tank. The fuel tank, I bought a brand new one to start with, but over the years it developed a leak. So I had
Mm.
to buy a new one, and they don't make oil fuel tanks anymore. So Billy, my son-in-law, he had finally found one. Oh, I don't know, quite a ways away from here. $1,100 for a 250-gallon fuel tank, and
Ooh.
so we bought one of them then, and had to bite the bullet and put in new fittings and everything on it. So
Hmm.
that's what we're using now, and he, I'm I'm crippled up enough I can't get out or do anything. So Billy's been cutting some wood, and so he puts a little wood in it every now and then, along with the oil heat. Makes a
Hmm.
pretty nice heat then, and it levels it down quite a bit. So that works out pretty good.
Yeah. Hmm.
And let's see, we finished the house. We must have moved in about 62,
Okay.
and 60, 63. We were brother and I were stacking bales that we hadn't sold, so we made a stack and we was across a little ditch and had a plank across that. And Dad was helping us; he was helping on the baler, and brother and I
Hmm.
was hauling in and stacking the bales. And it was my place, so I stacked the bales on my place into a stack. And I had about 3 bales high, and it was just 1, 2, 3 step. I just grabbed a hold when the arm stepped on the tire and stepped down. It was just did that for years.
Hmm.
And this time I think there was a gremlin under there or something. Anyway, anyway, I slipped, broke my leg, hit the
Oof.
plank, broke my leg above the ankle, broke a 3-inch uh, section out of that, and put a 3-inch diagonal crack in my leg from my knee on down. And
Oof.
it wasn't compound, but boy, it was a mess. So
Wow. Yeah.
they hauled me into town then, and this same doctor was still my doctor, and he put me in traction rather than try and set it the way it was or operate on it or anything. He just
Hmm.
put me in traction. And what the deal was on that, it was supposed to, then they gave me muscle relaxer, and my muscles were supposed to relax until they cracked uh, muscles in the leg and bones and everything, till they relaxed enough so that they would fall in place automatically. And
Yeah.
uh, then you wouldn't have to operate or anything. Well, I counted the sands in the ceiling for 21 days, and I could feel about that time, I could feel one night why the muscles had relaxed enough, and I could feel the bones slipping back in place where they were supposed to be. And
Huh.
so he slipped a cast on from the tip of my toes clear up above my heels, my hip. And
Oh, man.
uh, then I started getting embolisms. You know what? Uh, the
I'm not sure what that is.
the your blood, I guess, gathers up all the stuff and gets into one little wad. And this lodged in my, if it lodges in your heart, you're done. Uh, this
Oh,
lodged
okay.
in my, this lodged in my lungs, and it when it would get a grasp on it, it would paralyze me so bad I couldn't even breathe, and I'd hold my breath about 2 or 3 minutes. So then it would kind of let go, and
Hmm.
they was pretty afraid that it would move over to my heart and that it would be the end. So he got me up then and got to walk. And the first walk I had was from the hospital bed to the window, normally about 4 steps. That was the longest trip I have ever taken in my life. But I did, I did, I did get up then and got to moving around pretty good. And then they sent me home, and folks was uh, butchering chickens at that time. So I got my crutches and went out there and helped them a little bit. And they didn't know it, but darn near fainted a couple of times, but I stuck it out. And I got back home, and I was not going to be sitting in a chair looking out the window for about, I think they figured about 8 months anyway. So we had, at that time, my car was stick shift, and it had a clutch. Well, my left leg was broke, but the right one, I could handle the brake and the gas and everything. So I slipped the rubber off of the left brake and built a angle iron. I could clamp that onto the brake pedal and put a bend in it so I could use my left hand to depress the clutch. I'd lean against the steering wheel so it wouldn't go wild. Then I'd use my right hand to do the shifting and then release it with my left hand. And I was driving. Heck, I drove.
Oh, man.
From then on, I drove any place I wanted to.
Right.
And they had enough room in the left side of the cab that I could always park my bad leg up in the corner and out of the way and then drive the other. So then I decided that we needed to haul some steers away. So I decided I could see if it would work in the truck. So I used the same system on that. By golly, I drove that big truck with one leg and two hands. And it had a habit of dying when it was cold. We had to go up a little hill to get to my folks' place. And I didn't have my head quite cut in enough, and I didn't have it choke pulled out or revved up enough. The thing died right in the middle of a hill.
Oh, no.
I had it had a throttle on the hand throttle on the gas. So I got it started again. I had it brake depressed and the clutch depressed and my foot on the brake. So I pulled that throttle out a little bit, got the thing started, and eased it back down the hill a little bit, back down, put her in a big gear and put her in a little bit higher RPM, went right up that hill.
Oh, very good.
And, it was, see, that year then I had we had just moved into the house. This was just before I broke my leg. We'd moved into the house. And that was in '63. That was when President got assassinated.
And,
President
Kennedy.
And folks was loading some steers for me, and they weren't cooperating very good. So I hobbled out there and told them Kennedy had just been assassinated, and they weren't having very much luck with my steers, so they were not very impressed at all. And and when they finally got everything loaded and off, well, then they kind of realized what was going on.
Right.
But after let's see, I had quite a few little things in it. One thing, for some reason or other, sheep are so much fun to chase for everything. Dogs, everything.
Yeah.
First thing they want to do is chase sheep. And in Montana, we got a law that says if you catch any dogs or predators or anything chasing, harassing, or otherwise bothering your sheep, why, you can legally shoot them on the spot. So I kept my gun with me all the time, and there was dogs chasing my sheep continually. And I got a reputation of being pretty tough on dogs. Anybody that left their dogs get away, why they were worried pretty much, and they kept them pretty well uh, at home. In fact, we had a neighbor who's just about 500 feet away from us here. He was pretty wealthy. He had sent some people in to get his yard fenced and all that kind of stuff. And what I call his nanny came to me then and wondered if that fence would hold his dogs in. He had already had the message that if they get in my place and get into trouble, they're dead. So I kept that reputation and flaunted it just as much as possible because it was the best guard dog I ever had. Anyway, there's a couple of cases that I had. One of them, there was I had front of my sheep shed, I had a little pen, and the late lambs, I'd always keep and feed out until about February, which is the best market time all the time. I had quite a bunch and I had about 80 head. And I went out to feed them the first morning. There was a dead deer right over the panel that I had to step over before I could get any farther. So I looked around and there was 2 dogs laying in the sun next to my sheep shed. And they had been chasing a deer, and I think they were wore out. So they was laying there for resting up a little bit. So I went back and got my gun, and I figured that I would probably get one fast shot and one not one good shot and one fast shot.
Right.
So I did. If I got the first one, and the next one was going over the panel, and I shot him, but he was so big that, and I didn't make a dead shot, so he ran quite a bit farther than I finally finished him. They were big ones. I think that they called them fish laws. They were a big, brown, beautiful dog, a German breeding. And they used them for hunting and everything.
All right.
But, they were well cared for and everything. Never heard a peep out of anybody. Nobody claimed them at all.
Really?
And, they didn't want to get involved in paying for a bunch of dead sheep or anything. So
right.
They never said a word. And so I disposed of them. And then there was several times why there was a couple of real nice hunting dogs. They were chasing my bucks across the road from the house. Windier in the dickens, so I got my gun and took off after him, and got enough steady rest, so I got the first one. And the next one, he ran so fast and the wind was blowing so bad, so I let him go. They had tags on them and everything. You know, I never heard a word from anybody on them either. And then there was a little later on why the Church Universal moved in next door. I don't know if you've ever heard of them or not. No. Anyway, there was a cult, and crazy cult. Anyway, I used quite a few snares to snare the coyotes around my place.
Right.
Far enough from the building so that I wouldn't catch any dogs or anything. And they were, them and me, and nobody else could ever get along with them. So they, let's see, first I had a lawsuit with him over water, lasted for about 8 or 10 years. We finally got it settled, and I came out smelling like a rose. So they decided that leave a sleeping dog lie. They didn't. They were the best neighbors then that I could have. They didn't want any more lawsuits or anything with them. Anyway, this one dog got in my snare as quite a ways from the house, and so they heard it yap. And so what do they do but go up and take it out of the snare, carry the dog home, and kind of baby it along, which actually was against the law anyway. And then we had another big brown dog. He was a great, big, ugly bugger. He got into my sheep, and I didn't get a chance at him at all. So they was afraid that I would involve them with it, and with the dog that they carried down and everything, he was afraid I would involve them. So they spilled the beans to me, gave all me the information of who the owner of the dog was and where they lived, and the whole ball of wax. Anyway, I knew the dog was coming back because he'd killed one and sheep, and he'd always come back and get some more. So I went to town and got some buckshot for my shotgun, triple aught buck. There's about a dozen pellets in the shotgun, and they're pretty deadly and reasonable range, because I knew I'd never get a still shot at him, and I was going to nail them buggers. And the first one was this dog that they had drugged down. I got it, shot him, and the other one took off, and I got several shots at him, and I couldn't bring him down. And I was just kind of amazed, because I figured I was well within range and I wasn't missing him. So he left then, got away, and they had given me all this information of who it was. So it was this guy and the woman, I don't know whether it was his mother or sister or something. They lived in one of the houses about, it's pretty close to 5 miles from here. And so I went up there and introduced myself and told them what the reason was that I was there. There was a big dog, and it was supposed to be at this address. And at that time, while he walked across the living room of their house, I told him, I says, that's the dog that was causing me the problem. And well, he said that he was kind of wondering, because they had some chest wounds in there so deep, he was doctoring them and trying to keep him from getting infected. So I guess I had not missed him anyway. But anyway, I told the kid that according to Montana law, he had killed a couple of my sheep, that I was legally able to either have the owner shoot his dog, or I could shoot it, or I could have the sheriff shoot it. So he said that, I said, he wondered if he's had an uncle about 15 miles away, wonder if we'd take him down there. Told him absolutely not, because that dog would come back just in a heartbeat. So he said he would shoot the dog, but he didn't have any place to bury him. I says, you shoot him, and I'll give you a place to bury him up in my dog yard. So he put the dog in the pickup. We drove down here, and he let his dog out, got his 30-06 ready. And the dog was a little bit suspicious, I guess, because he'd go around this way and see the kid, then he'd go around the other way, and it was kind of making a merry-go-round out of the thing. So I told him, I'll go this way and hit a dog to you, and then you can do your business. He actually did shoot his dog, and there was great big crocodile tears coming down his face.
Oh, yeah.
And I told him that that's the way I make my living, and I cannot have dogs around. Says the next time you get a dog, you get a small dog or keep them confined.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him you'll have to pay for the sheep too. And so I figured, give me $100 a piece. Why, that would be close enough. So he says he hasn't got any money now, but he would whenever he got his money. So I wasn't going to leave there without anything. So I told him, I says, you give me a post-dated check and I'll hold it until you get your money at the end of the month. So he did. He gave me a check, and I held it then till the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing my irrigating and kind of walking up the road. Here him and his girlfriend, they came, gave me $200 bills, and they was going to leave. And I asked him if they didn't want this old check. Oh yeah, they'd take that. So I've never heard from him since. I don't know if they was illegal. He was supposed to be from Canada, and I don't know whether they was in the drug business or illegal or some way. Anyway, I never heard a word from him. Then we had another couple that was from Texas. They moved up here, and they moved pretty close next door.
Mm-hmm.
And their dog got chasing my sheep, and I was just, he's going square dancing. And I was all dressed up, and dogs come in and chasing my sheep. And they had one tipped over right by the mailbox, and they had two others with them, a little lap dog and another big one. So I just got my gun and headed out there, and I figured it was going to be some pretty fast shots. So I got the first one, and I was right on the next one then. But I didn't lead him quite enough, and I got him hooked in front of the hip, and he was rolled over in the ditch, and figured he was dead. So I wanted to see if I could get the lap dog, but he had gone down by that time. He'd gone clear down in the field, and I didn't figure there was any chance of getting him. So I came back then, and the one that I had hit in the hip, he was gone. He got up and started walking off. And I followed him for about a mile, and he had a blood trail all that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I could never get up close enough to him or even hardly see him to get another shot at him. So I figured that if I just leave him alone, he'll crawl in a ditch someplace, and then he'd stiffen up, and then he would eventually die.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't. He made it back to his people, and I looked at the tag then on the one that I had shot, and they had come from Texas, and they had a rabies tag on it and everything, and they had the veterinary down in Texas. They had their phone number and the whole works. So I called them and asked them what they knew about this thing. Well, they said that there was people down there, they had their dog vaccinated, and apparently they had problems down there too with him, because the veterinary, they just spilled all the information they could possibly get. They told me
Right.
where they lived now and what their phone number was and where they was working and the whole ball of wax. So I took my sheep was still alive, but she had one eye tore out and big chunk out of her top of her head, and the whole side was bare, and a big patch out of her back. I didn't think she would live, but she actually did, which was amazing. And I brought their dead dog then beside him, and I called him at work, and I told him I had his dog out here if he wanted to stop after work and pick it up. I didn't tell him that it was dead. Anyway, he came out, and I told him the story and showed him my ewe and dead dog right beside it. Said that wasn't his dog that did it. I said I absolutely know it wasn't. And I told him, if you want to pay for the dead ewe or something, why, we'll kind of get together pretty reasonable. Absolutely not. That wasn't his dog, and he was not going to give me a penny. So I thought, okay, we'll just go to battle. So they refused to pay. So I went to small claims court. I had never been through small claims. I thought, well, now this is a place for me to get an education, hands-on. So I went to small claims court, and I knew the judge there forever. Lady judge, she was a good kid. And the rules of a small claims court is that you have to plead your own case. You cannot have any professionals or anything. You have to plead your own case and have your own evidence and the whole works. So I've been to enough courts and everything. So when we met at the courthouse, I dressed up in my best business suit, and when the judge came in, I stood up like you're supposed to. And these two people were down there. They didn't know what the hell to do, so they saw me stand up. So they stood up then too. So then I pleaded my case. I had it pretty well memorized and did a pretty fair job of it. And then it was up to them to take their turn at it. And the gal, she come up and she was in tears. She was telling how her folks gave them those dogs, and they were supposed to take care of them and all that. And she was full of these crocodile tears. And the judge picked up a Kleenex and handed it to her. Anyway, when the smoke cleared, the judge says that I was 100% right and they were wrong and they had to pay. At that time, then it started accumulating. I had to hire somebody to have the summons on each one of them, and had another summons come to court. So the bill was getting up pretty good sized. And I think it was well over $500 then. So they were supposed to pay me back. And so they said that they were both working and they would pay me monthly. And the first check would be in the mail right now. It never was in the mail. And I never did get one. I thought maybe they'd give me $1 a month forever until I got it paid, but they just never gave me a penny. So I thought, well, next thing I'll have to do is garnish their checks, which I did. I started the process on that. And that was another education. Had to go through the sheriff's department. When you garnish a check, you just don't go in and take their check. You have to allow them a certain amount of money and enough to cover their bills, and then another amount for them to live on. And then you could take a portion of what is left. So I went through the claims court, and they were supposed to pay me. And the old gal that owned the dogs, she had a vocabulary that would make a sailor blush. And I was all those kind of people. Anyway, it didn't. First check never came, so I called the cops. They were handling it. I told them I did not give a check, so they called everybody in, and that's when she really gave me the tyrant. And so they were figuring on going back to Texas, and I wanted to get this thing lined up before they left because it'd be pretty difficult to make any work back that far away. Anyway, I didn't tell them that. Anyway, when we got out of listening to the sheriff and was going home, he came up to me and he said he was getting kind of tired of this rigmarole. So he gave me a check for the whole unpaid amount. And I have never seen them since, but I had a good education out of it.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, yeah. Robert, I don't know if you realize this, but we've gone another 2 hours.
Oh my gosh, I've got lots more stories to tell, but
I know we're going to have to set up another one.
This will be fine for me.
Okay. Well, what I'll do then, I'll close this one out, and then don't go anywhere. I'll talk to you once I finish closing it out. Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. To everybody out there, if you're struggling, need help, anything like that, don't forget the VA does have some good resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can always text 838-255 or go to veteranscrisisline.net. Click on that chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life loss is one too many. I care about you. I know this guy here cares about you. The whole veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies you serve with, ask them how they're doing. And if they need help, give them that helping hand. All right. With that, one last time, thank you very much. To everybody out there, stay motivated. Change your socks.
Okay.
No more 22. On to the journey and finish the fight.